Today we're going to be going over lawn disease and how to get rid of that fungus. So today we're going to be talking about lawn disease, or you may have heard it referred to as fungus. There are all different types. Brown patch is a really common one. Leaf spot or dollar spot, you may hear some other things referred to as. This isn't really going to be so much on identifying fungus and the types of fungus, because the good thing about fungus is if you've got fungus, it's fairly easy to know that you have some type of fungus, and all you really need to do is put down some fungus control. So I'm going to walk you through some spots on the lawn and show you some areas that to me are very clear fungus, and we're going to walk around how to treat them and show you how to do that. So I've got way more fungus than I have ever had before. It's probably a combination of my lawn being thicker and more fertilized than it has been in previous years, just due to me working at it and getting nice and thick. Now, I also had some mower problems this year. I've gotten rid of that mower, but it was resulting in some grass getting really matted down, the blade getting dull really fast, so that you'd have frayed ends on the grass, which will increase your susceptibility to getting fungus or disease. So there's some issues I've had that it led to me having definitely some increased fungus. So now we're going to go over some areas that I'm going to show you that are clear fungus in the lawn to help you identify just some examples of what fungus look like in your lawn so that you can fix it. Alrighty here, so here's probably, let me adjust this down, a good spot to tell. You can see right here, see the lawn's nice and green. You get over here, you've got a lot of grass that is just not green. You may see some matting down. Sometimes you'll feel some moisture in there. If you tug on it pretty lightly, some of that grass is just going to come up. If you look on this blade, let me grab it right here. You've actually got, if you dig into here, you've got a little bit of spotting on some of the grass. So when you look at something like this, that is lawn fungus. And you can wrap your head around trying to figure out what the difference between that type of fungus and this type of fungus is. But the reality is it doesn't matter. If you've got fungus, you've got fungus, and the best thing to do is to treat it as soon as possible. So here's some other areas of fungus that have actually had a lot of die-off. If you look at it here, super thin, and this used to be a very thin area of grass. You can see how it just gets has this real matted up appearance to it. I mean, if you tug on it, you're just gonna have grass just come right out. Whereas opposed to you go over here for healthy turf, if you tug on this grass, it's not just coming out. You tug on this a little bit and you've got a whole handful. It's because the roots have died from fungus. So again, it doesn't really matter what type of fungus you have. Fungus treatment will take care of it. All right, so now that you know what fungus is, how do you fix it? There's a couple really good products out there. There's two that I highly recommend, and you can find them pretty much anywhere nationwide. You have Scott's Disease X, but today we are going to be talking about bio-advanced fungus control for lawns. And if you notice, this one will sit on here and list a bunch of diseases and show you, hey, here's some dollar spot, here's some brown patch, which I just gave you a little bit examples of both. But again, it just doesn't really matter about the type of fungus you have. This is really going to take care of it, and it does a really good job. Now, some things that you should know. Scott's Disease X is a little bit more expensive than this. This is a little bit cheaper. They're basically the same thing. Active ingredients slightly different, but they're going to do the same job. One bag of these will generally treat 5,000 square feet. That is at a preventative rate. Just to make sure the difference of that is real clear. So a preventative rate is when you're trying to put it down to prevent fungus before it starts. I've already got some fungus, so I actually need to put this down at a curative rate, is what you will see most bags refer to it as. And generally speaking, read your bag and make sure. But a curative rate is generally going to be half the rate. Apologize here as I try to get this on camera. The curative rate's generally going to be about half the rate of the preventative rate. So essentially, if you're looking at a bag that treats 5,000 square foot and you're doing a preventative rate, this treats 5,000 square foot. If you're doing a curative rate, this is actually only going to treat 2,500 square foot. which happens to be what my front lawn is. So I'm going to put down this bag on the front lawn and call it a day. You flip over to the back side. It does have some instructions on here if you want to get detailed and read about exactly what it says, but you do want to water this in. Now rain or water, they'll advertise it can't wash off the production. You want to water this in either with rain that's coming, or with irrigation system, or manual sprinklers if you have. If you don't have an irrigation system, I would highly recommend do this the day before a rainstorm, put it down so that the rain can wash it in. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Let's throw it in the spreader, put it in the ground, and get rid of the brown. One-handed vlogging at its finest. So a couple things to remember. This is going to treat for about a month, so you're going to come back in 30 days and put it down again. Simple. Just do the exact same process. In future years, you want to try to put this down at a preventative rate. So start putting it down maybe mid-May, maybe early May, depending on your climate and where you are, to get ahead of the disease before it comes. Your spreader, it's better if there's not exact spreader settings for your spreader. It's better to go at a lower rate than you think you need, so that you can maybe you have to make 2 passes. That's a whole lot better than going a little too aggressive with your spreader setting and only getting halfway through the lawn and the product's gone. You never want to do that. It's better to make 2 passes. That's pretty much all there is to it. We've thrown down the fungus preventative at a curative rate. So hopefully, generally in about 7 to 14 days, you should start to see some improvements. Some key things you can do to even help it more: bag your mulching. I'm a big proponent of mulching and leaving in the grass, but when you've got disease, if you mulch, you will take those diseased lawn clippings and maybe move them down a couple feet and do that all around the lawn, and essentially you're helping the fungus spread. So bag it up for a little bit to get the fungus under control. The other thing you want to do is not to be heavy on nitrogen. So you don't want to throw down a ton of fertilizer. Generally, when you're getting fungus, it's at the end of spring, maybe starting to get into the beginning of summer. Heat-wise, not so much based on calendar. But as you look at that, that's a period when you want to go less on in anyways. So if there's a summer fertilizer you have, feel free to use that. Maybe only do 75% of what the rate is. But I would not, come down here and put a starter fert or anything like that. It's going to be a ton of N. That is not what you want to do. That is going to help that fungus spread and counter your fungus prevention. So thanks for tuning in for another episode of Rob Does It Himself. If I can do it, so can you.